Hey kids, it's the internet.
This week at Anchored, we talked about something that we all struggle with. We talked about this thing called hypocrisy. And the truth is that every single one of us, both inside the church and outside the church, we're all hypocrites. We all are guilty of this from time to time. We read a little bit in Matthew where Jesus is talking to a large group of people, and he's talking about hypocrisy.
There is an occasion where Jesus says, before we judge someone, we should first take the what out of our own eye? The plank, right? If you look at somebody and they got a little speck of dust in their eye and you got a plank in your eye, you're supposed to deal with your own thing before you deal with their thing. It's an issue of sin and hypocrisy. Jesus was a carpenter, and so he used this analogy. I'll give you an analogy. Here's what he's talking about, just so you can see it, even 2,000 years removed. I'll close my eyes so don't poke it out. But let's say there's a guy over here with, let's say, a little bit of, a toothpick in his eye, and you're the guy saying, dude, seriously, you got to deal with that.
It's like if someone were to come up to you and that person was like covered from head to toe in just mud and gunk, and it's just like, hey, man, you got a little bit of dirt on your cheek. You gotta take care of that. You look ridiculous. Everyone here can't stand to look at you because of this little bit of dirt on you. It's like when we judge other people for something that they've done in the past or something that they continue to do now, but either we did like the same exact thing or maybe even worse. We all do it. But, just because we all do it, that doesn't mean that we should do it. Now, sometime last year, if you were coming to Anchored, you might remember that we went through this book called James. And James was a letter that you find near the end of the Bible. And James talks about a lot of different issues. But one of the things he talks about is making sure what you say and what you believe and what you do, making sure all three of those line up together. There are these two kind of churchy words. There's orthodoxy.
Orthodoxy means believing in the right or correct thing.
And there's orthopraxy.
Orthopraxy means doing the right or correct thing.
And a lot of times we have pretty good orthodoxy. We believe the right things. We believe the correct things. We believe what we should believe. We believe what the Bible tells us. We believe kind of what the church teaches. But a lot of times we have very poor orthopraxy. Yeah, we believe the right things, but we're not doing anything about it. We're not doing the right things. We end up being like the guy who's like, hey, you've got a toothpick sticking out of your eye, man. You need to take care of that, when we ourselves have this huge 2x4 sticking out of our eyes. And we all do it. We do it several times during the week. We say that we believe or we think this one way, but we're acting the complete opposite way. Or orthodoxy does not match our orthopraxy. And we all do it. But just because we all do it, that does not mean that we all should do it. Now on Sunday, I kind of gave you these 3 steps that will help you to not be a hypocrite. And let me give you to them again. Because maybe you don't remember them, or maybe you weren't there. So these are 3 steps to make sure that you are not going to be a hypocrite. Step 1 is realize that you already are a hypocrite. Just realize that you already are. Admit that you have a problem. Every single one of us is a hypocrite. Every single one of us. And if you ever get to the point when you're like, I'm the only person in the world that's not a hypocrite, you need to look a little bit closer to your life. So that's step 1, realize that you're already a hypocrite. Step 2 is listen to what you say and watch what you do. Listen to what you say and watch what you do. This is kind of figuring out where in your life you are a hypocrite. So I gave the example of I think that that people should obey traffic laws. I think they keep us safe. I think they are good things. But at the same time, I'm cutting people off right and left on the road sometimes. And it's, I believe one thing and I say one thing, but I'm not doing it. So I'm a hypocrite there. Step 3 then is make sure what you believe, say, and do all line up. Make sure what you believe, say, and do all line up. If you believe that Christians should forgive each other, and you say that we should forgive each other, then you need to be forgiving people. If you say that you believe that God loves everyone and that you think that we should love everyone because God loves everyone, then you need to be living like you love everyone. Because if you're not lining up with what you say, what you believe, and what you do, if all those 3 things don't line up, then you're a hypocrite. So those are the 3 steps. They sound easy, they might be easy, but they're going to be really hard because you're going to start realizing there's all these things in your life that aren't lining up. And it's very important that all these things line up, because when we are hypocrites, it causes these gaps between us and other people. And we've talked about before how Christ has come to heal those gaps between us and other people, between us and God, and for us and ourselves. So you might have great orthodoxy. The question I want you to wrestle with this week is, how is your orthopraxy?